Hi guys, Mr. Matt here. Hope everyone's doing good at home. I have a new art project for you guys this week. This is called Pop Art Emojis. So it blends two art forms, pop art, which many of you have learned about before, and emojis, which everybody knows about. So I'm going to read you the instructions and then I'll change views and show you how to set up your paper and get started. Emojis are these little face symbols and some that are objects that we use to communicate a feeling, thought, or idea to someone else in this modern digital age. There's even a movie about them. You guys, I'm sure, have seen the Emoji Movie. We're going to combine emojis with pop art. We've learned about pop art before. Remember, it is popular symbols done in wild, bright colors. Sometimes these images are shown in a series like the ones by Andy Warhol that I've shown a lot in class, and I'll show you examples of those in my instruction sheet that I send out to you guys. So we're going to do a 4 emoji series. So I'm going to stop the video and then I'll start it again, change views so you can really see how to set up your paper and get started with this. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is I'm going to take this rectangular piece of paper and change it into a square. So I'm going to do this really simple just by taking the upper corner here, the upper left corner, and pulling it down so that it lines up. This is important that this line up this bottom edge and make a point. The edge has to line up and has to make a point over in that far corner. And you can have your folks help you with that, but it's really not that hard to do. And then I'm just going to trace this edge of the page with a pencil. And then I want to trim that. I'm going to take my scissors and just trim right along that pencil line. That'll give me a square page. Okay, so there's I'm going to unfold that now. Now I have a square page. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to divide this into 4 boxes. I'm going to get rid of my scrap piece over there. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold it in half one way and in half the other way. There, so without using a ruler, we have our 4 boxes. So, and I can just take a marker and follow those lines of those folds. Need a better marker. This one's running out. All right, so there's my 4 boxes. Now I'm going to start by I have this roll of tape that's going to be a good size circle for me to trace to make my emojis. Now I'm going to send you lists of emojis that you could choose from and examples of other artists that have done this. Now some of them are objects, and you could do that. So if you're going to do an object one, you wouldn't trace a circle. I'm going to do 4 that are face emojis, so I am going to trace a circle in each one. Okay, so I just set that there. Hold. Try to kind of have it in the middle of the box. And then move it over. Do that there. And down here. And over here. Alright, so there's my 4 circles that I'm going to make into 4 emojis. So I'm going to stop the video and I'll come back when I have some decisions made about what emojis I'm going to do in there. Okay, so I'm back and I made my decisions about my 4 emojis. I was using the list that's on the Word doc, but you can also do individual searches. You guys, by now, hopefully are getting used to using technology, being at home and getting everything through a computer. But if you just do a Google search for, like one of mine is worried, so I typed in worried emoji, and you get a bunch of images. So you can get different examples than the lists that I sent you. So I have frustrated, proud, happy, and worried. Those are all things that I've felt over the past month of being here at home. But anyway, I started with the proud emoji. And I'll tell you a little story about each one. So I have a shed in my backyard, and I built a ramp for it. I did a construction project. I went out and bought the wood and thought about it all and kind of designed it and cut all the boards and assembled everything, screwed everything together. And then I went and I got these nice big stones to put around the crushed stone that the shed is sitting on. And when I got done with that job, I stood back and looked at it, and I was really proud of what I did. I thought I did a nice job on it. So that's something that I felt. So I put the proud one in there. So I'm going to balance that now. The proud is kind of a nice thing. I've been frustrated. Even today, working on these art projects, I've been frustrated a little bit. So I'm going to show that for one of mine. So starting with pencil, I just did a search. I found one that I liked a little better than on my list. Because it's got like the smoke coming out of the nose, where the nose would be there, and that really shows being frustrated, which, man, I get that way sometimes. So the eyes are kind of like this. Doing this in pencil so I can erase. There's another one here. Try to make it the same. Big curvy mouth that is not happy. Back. Eyebrows are up like this. Something similar. There, that's pretty good. Now they got this. I'm going to do these two dots where they start from. And this is going to overlap the mouth. These are the puffs of steam. It's just a little cloud. And that goes over the mouth. Erase that inside part there. And again over here. These clouds are like just curvy lines that connect. It's like how we do the tops of trees, or if you ever had to draw broccoli, that's probably how you do it. This one looks like it didn't go as far. I think I need to move it so it matches the other one a little more symmetrical. So I'm going to bring these lines down a little farther before I start it. Yeah, there. That's kind of where I want it. There. That back in. All right, so there is proud and frustrated. So I'm going to stop the video and work on these two, and then start talking about color. Okay, so I'm going to use marker for this. And the first thing that I'm going to do, now that I have all my emojis drawn, I have this is proud, frustrated, worried, and happy. All right. So, and I'm going to do the backgrounds first, and then I'll do the details and the faces, coloring in the emojis. So the first background, I'm going to do the proud one. I'm going to use green for that. So I have my Mr. Sketch chisel tip marker. I'm just going to go around the emoji and try to be kind of careful with that edge. Now I can do the same thing with edging these edges. Once I have that part done, then it makes it easy to kind of fill in the rest and color that in. Right? And I would do the same thing until I had that all colored in. Now, just talking about my color choices here. Over here, I'm frustrated. So I'm going to use red in that background because that kind of color goes with how I'm feeling. So this morning I spent a lot of time working on an art project that in the end I decided I didn't want to use because, well, I just thought it wouldn't fit right. So I was frustrated because I spent all that time on it and then I wasn't going to use it. Right, so I do that the same way. Other color choices that I'm going to use here. So down here, I'm worried, and I've been feeling worried during this time. I just like everyone, I want things to go back to normal, and I don't know when that's going to happen. So I'm worried about that. So I'm feeling kind of blue. So I use blue in that background. So I would do that the same way. Do my edging first, and then that makes it easier to color in the inside. Once you have that part done, you can kind of go faster with coloring in the whole background. So I would keep going on that one, and then this one over here, I'm happy. So like this weekend, I got out Saturday. It was a beautiful day, and Kim and I went mountain biking down in Bethlehem at a town mountain bike park in Bethlehem, and so I was happy. So I think this like light purple is a nice bright kind of cheery color. And sometimes you can bounce back and forth between these quickly. Like, quick story, I was happy. We got there, it was nice and sunny, and then we got the bikes off the top of the car, and Kim started riding hers, and something's all messed up, she said. And I looked, and the chain was all stuck around the sprockets and all messed up. So I went from being happy to being frustrated very quickly. Then I fixed the problem, and then I was happy again, and then we rode on the trails and had a nice time. So that's a little story about what's been going on. So same thing with this color. Do your edging. That makes life easier for coloring in the inside, and be careful going around the outside. So I'm going to finish all these, and then I'll come back when I have all the backgrounds. Okay, so I have all my backgrounds colored in, and I started outlining. And now I'm using a Sharpie for doing this because it's a little bit finer point than the chisel tip. So if you have a skinnier marker, or you could use a black colored pencil or something like that to do your outlining. So I'll do the frustrated emoji. So I'm just gonna notice I turn the paper to make it easier for me to get to, and I can just follow this around. Now, after you get the outside outline of the circle, when you do the facial features, I'm kind of staying on the outside of the pencil line to make sure that there's room inside to color in, which I'll talk about later. But if that makes sense, when you go over your pencil lines, kind of go outside the pencil line so that it leaves some space inside to be colored in, so it's not too small of a shape to be colored in. And if you drew it too small, we drew it in pencil first, so you could go back and adjust it and make it a little bit larger so there's room for things to be in there. frustrated. Steam flowing out of there. All right, now just this part, stop, because that overlaps. And back around, stop, continue, stop, continue. All right, so there's my outline frustrated. I'm going to stop the video. I'll finish outlining these, and then I'll talk about coloring in the inside of the emoji. Okay, so I have everything outlined, and I colored in my first emoji there, the proud emoji, and I discovered a couple things that I think that in a lot of the examples, it looks like the facial details are actually not black. So I used brown in there with the black outline, and then some of the emojis, it kind of looks like they're almost orange on the outside and they get yellow as it goes in. So I did a little bit of orange and then yellow for the rest of it. And then the last thing that I did is that I thought that the outside edge, it looked a little nicer if it was a thicker outline. So I just outlined it with the wide part of Mr. Sketch. So I'll show you how I did all that on Mr. Frustration over here. And then I'll show you the finished product. So I'm going to start with the brown. So as some of these places are small, if you have a chisel tip marker, you're going to want to use the small point of it so you can get inside those. And that's why we, when we did the outlining with black, I said go to the outside edge of your pencil so you have room to color in the inside with brown or however you color in the inside of yours. Some emojis have more details than others. If you do a search for happy, you might get one that shows different kind of eyes, and you can do it your way. But so there's the brown on the inside. Whoops, I got into that steam a little bit. I didn't want to. So now I would get my orange. Just gonna do kind of a little orange circle around the outside. Turning the paper is the way to go with this. Makes it a lot easier. I can just keep turning the page and get all the way around pretty easy. Do my yellow on the inside. Same thing with this. If you have tight spaces, you can use the small point of the marker to get in there. If you have markers that have a small point, or a chisel tip that you can use a small point of, there's that. Okay, so now I just take the black, and now I want to use the wide edge of that. And I'll do the old turn the paper trick there. If I can do longer sections, it'll make a smoother line instead of being so sketchy with it. There, and there is proud and frustrated. I will finish worried and happy and show you the finished product. Okay guys, so here's the finished product, my pop art emojis, series of 4, and I'm just going to sneak a signature down in here, put it in the happy one. Alright, so please send me pics of your pop art emoji work, and we'll see you again. All right. Bye, guys.